Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about shares and how to add the shares and the role that contains those shares. For shares to be added, we need to have a file and storage role installed on the server. If the role is not already installed on your server, this is how you would install that particular role. You first want to go to Server Manager, add roles and features, click on Role Based or Featured Based Installation, select the server, add the role, choose a file and storage services, go to Features, install, and then confirm it, and then make sure it's installed correctly. To add a share, Server Manager File and Storage Services, go to Shares, click on Task, go to New Share, we'll select Quick in our role, and then we'll select E for our purposes, which is a separate drive than what the drive is on the server. And then we'll select the share name, and then we'll go to Other Settings, and we'll enable access based enumeration, and then permissions we will leave at default for the time being. We will go into more detail once we get into the server, and I'll show you how to do it in more in detail once we get into the server. And then we're going to confirm our share. We will need to create security groups to associate with those shares. And we will go to the appropriate OU and add the security group in that OU. We will set the group scope to global. We will set the type to security. Now we will add permissions for the shares. Right click on the share and select Properties. Go to the Security tab and click on Edit. Select Add and add the proper security group. Now only people who have been given this permission will be able to have access to that share/resource. Okay, now we're on our server, and I'm going to show you where that file and storage services would be. Right there is where it would be if it was not installed. You would go into the Add Roles and Features here. You would click Next, select your server, and let's see here. Right here would be your file and storage services that you would need to install. And then you would click Next. You don't want to add any features, but since we already had this installed, you would just click Next after this and then install, and then you would confirm it, and then you'll basically see the results. You would get the confirmation and then install it. Sorry. So we're going to cancel this since it's already installed. The purpose here is we're just going to show you how to add shares. I'm basically going to do that right now. So we'll go in here. Go down to Shares. Click on Task. Go to New Share. We're going to keep the SMB share quick. You can do lots of other different ones, but mainly you want to stay with the SMB. You do not want to, only specific times do you want to do the NFS shares. Most of the time in business settings you want to do the SMB share. And we're going to click Next. We're going to choose volume E for our purposes, and this is how you would normally do this in a real life situation. We normally want to have your shares on another volume or another hard drive. Click next. This share name I'm going to name accounting. If you want, you can put a description in there. I'm just going to leave mine blank. I'm going to enable access-based enumeration. As you can see here, I like to go basically off of what exactly the description does here. Basically, what it's going to do is if a user does not have access to that folder, they will not be able to see that folder even being there. That's what access-based enumeration does. And it will hide it from the user's view, and the user will not be able to see it. If the user does have permissions to see it, then of course the user will be able to see it. But this is a very nice way of not being able to show a user all the documents that you have in in your shares, especially if they don't have access to it anyhow. I'm going to go ahead and click on next here. I'm going to leave this at default for right now. You can customize this anytime. For right now, I am going to leave this as default, and we will be changing these permissions later on. As you can see, everything's looks like it's set up correctly. It's exactly the way I want it, and the protocol is SMB, which is the way I want. I'm going to click on create. I'm going to click on close. And I'm going to add 4 more here. So I'm going to show each one of those ones that I'm going to do. I'm going to do it pretty quickly since I explained it pretty well on the first one. So I'm going to click on new share, go next, I'm going to click on E, click next. This one's going to be called marketing. I'm going to click on next, enable access-based enumeration, click next, create. Click on task, new share, click next, click on E, next. I'm going to create the human resource share. Create it, click close. Going to add the customer service share now. Click next. And the reason I'm creating all these shares is this will be a continuation into other videos that I'm going to create later on. I'm going to create a printer mapping. I'm going to create a drive mapping. I'm going to even create like block directories for certain groups, security groups, etc. These will be videos that I will post later on, and that's why I'm going through each and every share that I'm going to be creating, and these shares will be used in later videos. Create. And I'm going to create one more. It's going to be called information technology. Next, enable access-based enumeration. Click next, create. Okay, I am done with that for right now. So now I am going to show you how to set up the security groups for the appropriate OU. I'm going to minimize Server Manager. I'm going to open up Users and Computers, and go ahead and create the security group in here in Accounting. It's going to be called Accounting. I'm going to leave the group scope as global. If you wanted to do domain local, you could keep it for domain local. The reason that you would do domain local is if you were only going to use this resource in the exact same domain. You cannot share it in any other domains. You can only share it in you cannot share it at all. It could just be in that domain, and only that domain. A global can be shared across multiple domains, and universal can be shared across multiple forests. That's the easiest way for me to remember those, which ones to choose. Most of the time, from my experience, most companies will go with global unless they have multiple forests, and they have to share resources between those forests. And if that's the case, then you would definitely need to have universal. But you don't use universal very often. I would say global is the most popular one. The group type is going to be security. I'm going to click OK. And now you can see we have the accounting security group set up. I'm going to create this group. I'll call it marketing. Click OK. And basically what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and we will create users in this. And the users that would be in accounting, marketing, human resources, customer service, information technology, the one that is in each of those OUs, say we have Steve in accounting, for example. Steve would be able to have access to anything in the accounting share. If we have Dave from marketing, Dave would be the only one in marketing that would have access to that share. No one else would be able to have access to that share. That's why we have to create these security groups, so that the people that need access to the appropriate resources can have access to those resources. I'm going to go in here and create the human resource group. Alright, now that we got our groups set up, let's go over to our shares and assign them the appropriate resources. We're going to open up Windows Explorer. Go down to E, click on Shares. Now you can see all of our shares are right there. I'm going to right click on Accounting. I'm going to go to Properties. I'm going to go to Security. I'm going to remove Users here. So I'm going to go and Edit. Yes. So as you can see, it won't let me remove the users, and the reason is it's inheriting the permissions. So I'll show you how to take care of that issue. So let's go into advanced, go in here and disable inheritance. We're going to convert inherited permissions into explicit permissions on this object. And now, as you can see, it'll let us remove that object. I'm going to click on apply. I'm going to click on edit now. I'm going to add. And since this is for accounting, I'm going to add the accounting group. I'm going to say they can have full control. Alright. Press OK. I'm going to do this for each one. Going on properties for customer service, going to security, going to advanced, going to disable inheritance, convert inheritance permissions, remove, click apply, click OK, add customer service, allow them full control. I'll click apply and OK. We're going to do this for each one. Human resources group. I always check names when I'm doing that, just to affirm that we're selecting the right group. Sometimes there are multiple, you may have multiple groups with similar names, and you will have to, if that is the case in your environment, you would have to check those names out to make sure you're applying the right security group to that particular share. Click on here and give them full control. Add information technology. I'm going to give them full control. Security. Go to advanced. Full control. It's okay. And now, as you can see, only those users would have access to those shares. I will show you in later videos how those permissions exactly work. For right now, we have all the security groups set up, and that is pretty much the end of the video. In subsequent videos, I will show you how that process works. For example, like I said earlier, if Dave from accounting was there, he would only be able to see accounting, and he would only have access to the accounting folder. If Jared from customer service wanted to get, well, first off, Jared would not be able to see any of these other folders. I was going to say he could not get into any of these folders, but if it is set up correctly, Jared would not be able to see, because of enable based enumeration. Jared would not be able to see any of these other folders in here. Jared will only be able to see just his customer service share. And in the probably the next video, I will go over more detail about how that process works. For right now, that's the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit. If you got any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you.